Amber.
They saw my tum-tum!
The moon landing didn't happen.
Are you actually gonna wear that?
Okay, fine. You're the queen of lolcows. Well done, you.
Did she spray Pam on the food?
That ass, though.
You're lolcows. That's what you guys do.
Code Red Hotline. This is Deets. What do you got for me? What? Rachel has another video? What is Emily doing? Yeah. I'll take a look. I'll look at the comments. We'll see what we got. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. All right, talk to you later, Frank. Bye.
Leslie!
Hey folks, what's good? I'm Professor Deets, and today we're going to go comment diving. Rachel's latest Exposé just came out a couple days ago, and since then, I have now watched it twice. I will say I think Rachel was asking some great questions, and I'm appreciative of the fact that Emily was seemingly being very open about the entire thing. I still don't think that Emily is the saint, right? You know, Amber's out here saying that just because we don't like Amber means we love Emily, and that simply isn't true. I just don't trust Emily fully. I still believed Emily more. There was still more context offered. I think that she felt like she was mostly telling the truth, at least, unlike Amber. So, I watched that twice, and I didn't know where to start because there was just so much information offered, which I appreciate. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Emily, for offering us all of that. I don't want to call it tea because it's too messed up to be called tea, but all that truth, I guess we'll call it. And I decided, since I didn't know where to start, I might as well start right at the very source, which was Rachel's video and the comment section. I love reading through comments. I think there's a lot of things in there that I find that just bring to mind things that I hadn't even thought about yet and make me want to think about some more, or things that might sway my own opinion because they're things, again, that I hadn't considered, or they're things that really solidify the way that I already felt. So we're gonna go diving into Rachel's comment section, see what we see, and I'm just going to go ahead and cold react to, however many we get through. I know we're not going to be able to get through even a small fraction of the comments on there because there are thousands, and I'm just going to allow myself to talk, offer my thoughts on whatever comments come up for us. And I will say that I'm just going to go ahead and let this turn into a podcast, really, basically, as I go into the comments. I'm just going to go in, bring that screen up, and we're going to go through them together. So you can feel free to, put your phone down, do some chores, work on whatever project you have at hand. Now, that being said, I do imagine I'm probably going to be putting some clips into, different sections because something will come to mind and I'll want to bring it up for you. But other than that, yeah, pretty much a podcast until we get to the Corgi Cam at the end. There is a storm a-coming where I live, and I'm going to do my best to get through as many questions as I can before, realizing that now is the moment I got to take Mini Waffles on her last big walk of the day, because otherwise it is going to be raining so much, and I think it's going to be raining for like a week. So yeah, we're going to want to get out there and have a little fun before everything is soaked. Let's go to the comment section.
Saying someone should send you money on Mother's Day because you're a pet parent is fucking wild.
Look, everybody knows how I feel about my dog, okay? She is basically my daughter. However, I absolutely 100% have never, expected a Mother's Day gift, let alone demanded one. And honestly, I think that Emily was smart to send that money back immediately because, yeah, Amber holds things over people's heads. It is something she is known to do. I bet she was already holding something else over Emily's head, and Emily just didn't want one more thing that Amber could have in her back pocket to pull out sometime. So All of this is wild. That was wild. And I don't know, there is just something about demanding money on Mother's Day because you have pets that it really just speaks volumes about Amber and how truly disconnected from reality she is. She just makes up her own reality in her head, believes it, and then expects everybody else to understand the rules. You know? Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
Cute to think that we're currently all watching this together.
Honestly, I totally agree. Oh my gosh, I was in the live chat and I just saw, 99% amazing people. You know, the people on the wrong side of the internet. We are amazing. This community is so great and supportive. I saw so many reactors in that live chat. So yeah, I agree. Super cute. Loved it. Let's move on.
You know why I believe Emily closed the door? Because Emily works, pays her own bills, and lives in the northern US. No level of anger could top the fear of a huge gas bill from a door being open over a 12-hour shift.
Alright, now, in order for you to understand why I fully agree with this comment, I'm just gonna have to give you a little story time because I get this. Now, I have spent a lot of time in northern, colder climates, and for instance, my last year of college, we had over 170 inches of snow in that one winter. It was so much snow. And it was cold, obviously. And I lived in a really crappy old house. And it was bad. And I didn't leave doors open. I didn't leave windows open. However, the windows in my bedroom had almost no seal around them left. It was so old it basically cracked off and it was just a single pane of glass kind of window. No insulation. Zero. And I would wake up in the morning because it was so cold and it was such an old house that our heat would just break in the middle of the night. And I would wake up in the morning and you could see your breath in my bedroom inside. No window open, no door open, just bad insulation. Okay? And of course, we'd have to call a guy and he would come and he would do his best to fix it without actually replacing the whole thing because that's what really needed to happen. But of course, our landlord refused to. He just kept calling this guy and he would put a Band-Aid on it and it would work again for another week and a half. Point of my story here is that I could see my breath in the morning and I didn't even have a door open. Okay? So anyone that lives in that kind of climate is aware of this. And Amber doesn't. She lives in Oklahoma and she's not used to that kind of weather. So she thinks that this kind of story is going to fly. You know, she leaves the door open and it goes unnoticed. But again, that's just her making up a reality that's not real. Anyone who lives in that kind of cold, they're simply not going to leave the door open. They want to close the door immediately. They want to either get into the house where it's warm or make sure, as this person in the comments said, that they're not going to run the bill up because it will get run up very quickly. And 100% of me believes that Emily is exactly like that. She lives in Wisconsin. It was winter. She didn't leave that door open. But Amber, she's just not used to that reality, so she thinks that that could happen. And there's no way that if Amber left the door open, by accident or not, there's no way that she didn't notice it. Because again, it gets cold so fast if there's even a sliver of a window that's left open, let alone a door several inches. Sorry, it doesn't fly with me. The story doesn't work out. These are not facts. This is fiction. All 3 versions of it. And look, a small disclaimer here. I hope you all know I am not laughing because of Rarity. Obviously, that is so sad. It is so sad and so horrible. I can't even really think about what Amber did, you know? But I am laughing because of just how ridiculous this lie is. It's wild to me that she thinks anyone is going to believe what she's saying. But we are talking about Amber here, so yeah. Let's actually see if anybody else agrees with me and this commenter about that. Agreed. I have a house, cats, and dogs. There's no way in hell, under any circumstances, that I'm leaving and not making sure the door is closed. In fact, if I was that mad, that thing is getting an extra hard close to emphasize my exit. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even get to talking about the fact that she's obviously closing the door because she has pets and is most likely a more responsible pet owner than Amber is, you know? I'm pretty sure that doing things like checking and closing doors, locks, etc. is just second nature to her at this point. Exactly. This just goes to the point that, you know, while I don't know Emily and I don't know, you know, her day to day, I do believe that she's probably more responsible than Amber is. And even though Amber could imagine accidentally leaving a door open, most people would never, ever, especially homeowners with pets and, you know, family. Exactly. There's no way closing a door isn't just muscle memory for her. Yeah, she doesn't even have to think about it. And she's in debt and broke, so there's no way that she'd waste any of the heat in the winter. There are so many reasons why Emily would never have left that door open. Yeah, my energy bill can be as high as 33% of my mortgage. Oof. I 100% agree with you. She wouldn't even have to think about closing the door. It would be automatic. Yeah, totally. All of the above. It's like the more I think about all of this, the more I strongly, fully 100% believe that there is no way that Emily left that door open. So, had to be Amber. I just don't know what these circumstances were when she did so. All right, let's move on to the next one.
For the record, I think Emily is vile in her own way, but I 1000% believe her.
I also agree with this. I don't know to what degree Emily is vile, but I don't trust her. I know that much. And I know she has done some very questionable things, and she, you know, called her partner very horrible names. There are a lot of things about Emily that I don't like. Amber keeps saying that just because we're against her, just because we're against Amber, that means we're on Emily's side. And that's simply not true. You know, the queen of two things can be true at once all of a sudden can't take that back. We can totally dislike Amber and think Amber is vile, and also think Emily is pretty vile in her own way, as this commenter has said. We just believe what Emily's saying over what Amber is saying. And that's because Amber, well,
Feelings are facts, actually. Yeah, pop off, queen, pop off. How about 40? My favorite thing is sit on it and spin. Like, you have to have a small PP to literally make that type of content. Leslie.
I mean, there are so many reasons why. I feel like we could make a whole video about why we don't believe Amber, right? She just has a very, very long history of lying, both proven and admitted.
Let me get it now, the reaction channels. Amber Lane admitting to lying. We all do it.
Couldn't even sit here and name all the lies if I wanted to in a day, because there are that many.
Rain and petals, these drop. Pa. Pa.
We also know that Amber's really bad at lying, and when she was, you know, going off in her crash outs that she has now so conveniently deleted, it was obvious that she was lying.
Wait.
Woo! I mean, and using her journal as proof of anything. There's just so many things, so many reasons why we don't believe Amber. When it comes to Emily, we don't have a long history of lying that we know of. She might be, but we don't know it. And I don't know, just the way that Emily's telling her stories, it just seemed more authentic, more believable. It didn't seem like she was trying to make things up on the spot, but rather she was recalling her memories. And there is a difference, right? When you're telling a story because it happened versus telling a story that you're making up on the spot. And that's just how it comes across to me when I was hearing Emily's voice in those voice notes. And then additionally, she has, shared entire text and direct message conversations rather than just cherry picking ones out that she wanted to share. So we have full context where we don't with Amber. It's just reason after reason after reason to believe what Emily's saying. But again, that doesn't make her a good person or not a toxic person. And furthermore, that also doesn't mean that we believe 100% of the things that Emily is saying. I know I don't, at least. I think that she definitely sends things that, maybe make her look better than some of the other things she could have sent. In the initial batch of texts that Emily sent to Rachel, there certainly weren't any of those texts where she calls Amber names. So she did a little bit of cherry picking herself, for sure. And because of that, I can't necessarily bring myself to fully believe everything she has to say. Now, that being said, she also, this time around, she has not been trying to make herself look like a saint. And I do appreciate that. I mean, we're not really directly talking about how awful she is or anything, but she wasn't hiding the fact that she called Amber names and was reactive, etc. So, yeah, I don't know. It is definitely muddy, gray area of different kinds of lies and different levels of toxicity. But at the end of the day, I will still say that as of this recording, I will believe Emily more often than I will believe Amber. And I'll leave it at that.
Amber using octaves when she means decibels is so funny to me. Educated Lynn.
Yeah, this is another one of those less important things that happened during this expose, but the fact of the matter is, it's wrong. It is this complete incorrect use of yet another word by Amber Lynn Reid. I think she said it twice, even, so she really meant it when she said it. Well done, Amber. Well done.
Little did Jordy know, he was in a lesbian throuple.
I bet he is loving the fact that he really was so central to a lot of the arguments between Emily and Amber. Well, at least the ones that we saw in this particular video. Let me see what people had to say about this one. Yet another marriage Amber barged into. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know that the metaphor really works in this situation, but it is a nice moment to bring up the fact that yes, Amber has broken up a marriage in the past. An involuntary, parasocial, parasitic, polyamorous relationship. Oof. Oh, that sounds like a song you would sing really fast. You know what I'm saying? Best comment yet. Finally, bi representation. Oh man. Yeah, pretty funny, guys. Pretty funny. Jordy is going to get a lot of use out of that for a very long time, as he should.
Guess what? Amber is far crazier than any of us know. In a scary way.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting point, and I've brought it up a little bit here and there in the past, but without having it on camera, it's hard to discuss, in any kind of factual way, because it is still just a theory. But the theory that I brought up in the past is that I think that because of Amber's size, I actually think it holds her back from doing far worse than she's currently doing. I think she would do more harm, like more actual physical harm to people if she was more mobile. And that is a very scary thing to say. And of course, that's just my thoughts, my opinion. I don't know that for sure, but it's just how she comes across to me.
I don't remember why we argued. I don't remember the argument. But she grabbed my arm with her nails. First time. Any physical that was negative. And I remember that clearly. It shocked me. It shocked me really, really bad. And it was just, I didn't know what to make of it, really. I'm 16 years old. I mean, I was a kid. I was a child. So I just assumed, okay, I made her mad. One time, when my mom and Dave were out, I don't know why we argued. But I was put on the bed. She wailed on me. Beat me real bad. I remember this clear as day. Our bed was in the living room. Next to the bed was a dresser. In front of the dresser was a table. Between the table and the bed was her over me, wailing on me.
Well, Amberlynn didn't want to go, and I said, that's fine. You don't have to go. Because, I mean, like I said, all that drama from before with her and my mom, they were just tense. But she didn't want me to go. And I was like, okay, well, it's been a little while since I've been over there. Just, I'm going to go over there. And she was just like throwing a big just fit. I don't know how else to describe it. She was crying. And I know it was a Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand. I would try to walk out of the house. And I know I had this Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand. And I'm just like, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. So, and because we were already arguing, I was like, I don't want to be around you anyway right now. Like, we were arguing. I wanted to go see my mom. She starts screaming at me from the sliding glass doorway, saying that she's going to harm herself if I leave, and I don't know, just all this stuff, just going nuts. And she starts, like, coming at me, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get in my car, and I leave the can on my top of my car, and I close the door real quick, and I lock the door, and she's like telling me to get out, all this stuff, and she ends up throwing the can at my car.
That also makes me wonder even more about that video that, Emily's kind of been holding. I wouldn't say holding over Amber's head, because if you'll remember, Amber is actually the one that brought that, like the existence of that video to the public. She brought it up herself. It was when Snowflake did his expose with Emily that first time a while ago. Nobody said what Emily was exposing, but Amber decided to get online before Snowflake posted his video and go on a rant. She melted down. She crashed out. And during that crash out, she brought up the fact that Emily had that video. Amber said, if you release that video, suing will entice or something. So we wouldn't have necessarily even known about it had Amber not brought it up in the first place. It's just yet another example of Amber shooting herself in the foot and giving herself away. Now, we don't know. Emily might have brought that video up another time, but maybe not. She hasn't released it at this point. Maybe she never plans to. So we only know about it because of Amber. That's also very telling, right? What is on that video? And does that video show the real off-camera Amber? And is that what she is so afraid of? That, this image of herself that she's created online is certainly not a good one, but it's actually a lot worse in reality, and Amber doesn't want us to know that. I don't know. I do think that this is an interesting comment for that reason. I think there's a lot of levels there and a lot of questions that people are asking.
Rachel's transcending from reactor to investigative journalist, and I'm here for it. Great work, Rachel.
I don't disagree with this comment. I think that Rachel has done a fabulous job on this series. And really think about it, oftentimes when anybody, a reactor, another channel has, some kind of interaction with a side character, it's generally just a one-off. But this has been a true deep dive with Emily. They've obviously been in contact for a long time and talking about a lot of different topics. Rachel had to, she had to paw through how many text screens and DMs and make sense of them all, putting them in, chronological order, and then also pairing it all up with anything that Amber has presented and seeing if they align or if they don't. So I can't even imagine just the number of hours that Rachel has put into this series. And yeah, I think she deserves a lot of credit for that and a lot of thanks. And I think she did see a lot of that in the live chat during the second expose. And there's a lot of love there, and I love to see it. So I agree. Great work, Rachel.
The soft, gentle love finale, y'all.
I mean, that is a funny thing to say, but I don't think we've hit the finale yet. I think there's still more to come in this soft and gentle love era with Emily. My opinion comes from the fact that Amber did delete all those live streams and put up that really strange community tab post where, honestly, I don't know who wrote that. It was very poorly written. It almost felt like someone who wants to be a lawyer wrote it, but they just need some more lessons in English and writing because it was bad. But also could have been Chat GPT, but I don't know. It almost feels like it was written too poorly for that. And I don't think that Amber would have used all of the terms that was in it. So I don't know who wrote it, but in any case, it's weird. And it just makes me feel like it's not said and done. There is more to come in this. It's like I don't even want to call it drama anymore because it is all too serious. It's all very grim, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know what is next in this story, but I don't think we've hit the finale. Let's see what some people said about that. I don't think this is the end. Right, exactly. The girls never leave, and it doesn't sound like Emily does either. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Emily keeps in contact with Amber or keeps going back to her, whatever the case may be. I don't get it, but I'm also not in that relationship. I don't understand Emily's mindset and what her motives are. So we're just going to have to wait and find out on that. If she does have any motives, she is still talking to reaction channels. So clearly there is still more Emily. I just don't know if there's more Emily and Amber together. We shall see. Final gotta be the BPD video. Oh, there's that video. Anything else is just progression, I feel. That video, I just don't think we're ever gonna get it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we're gonna get it. And I think there could be several reasons for why we won't. And I think those reasons could be on both sides of the equation. I think Amber has reasons that she doesn't want it shown.
Yeah, Emily, I wouldn't share that video if I were you. Ooh, I would not show that video if I were you. I would not show that video if I were you. That would be a really bad idea if I were you.
And I think Emily probably has reasons that she doesn't want to share it. And it's like each one of them could hold that part over the other's head. And because of it, we're at a stalemate and we're just never going to see it. That's just a thought, though. I don't know.
I was a registered nurse for many years, working 12 to 14-hour shifts. I cannot imagine coming home after a shift and not being able to sleep before my next shift. It's dangerous for the patient that Emily was taking care of, not sleeping or resting before the next shift.
And you know what? This has been on my mind a lot throughout this whole month or so as we've been talking about this, the night in question, the Rarity night. Because, man, I would have to go back and collect all of the information on that night. But from what I remember, it's basically started with Amber waking Emily up in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m.
And it was like literally in the middle of the night, and like I had woken up and asked her to turn down her brightness on her laptop and turn down the sound because I had to work the next day.
Them getting into this fight.
She like took her phone flashlight and shined it in my face. And I'm like, I was pissed. I'm like, what are you doing? I have to get up to work. And like it all escalated from there.
Emily not going back to sleep, then going to a 12-hour shift.
Eventually, after that, I left and out the back door because she followed me downstairs. And I was getting my shoes on. She stood in front of the front door, so I went out the back door. I closed it. She was right behind me. And then I had to go work. I didn't sleep the entire night. I had to go to the work for a 12-hour shift.
Coming back from that 12-hour shift, still not going to sleep because Emily was then looking for Rarity, right?
And then I came home and the cat was missing. So I spent all night looking for the cat.
And Amber wasn't helping to look for Rarity, so Emily was doing all of it, and that's a whole other conversation.
Like, she didn't do anything to help look for the cat. She didn't even go outside with me for the initial, my initial search. I searched the house. She didn't even do that. She sat on the couch.
Ooh, hearing that really made my blood boil. I don't know when after that Emily finally did get to sleep. Like, did she go to yet another shift without another night's rest? Was it 2 nights of no sleep? Or was it 1 night and a whole lot more time before she got to bed? In any case, it's not okay, especially in the role she has. If she is taking care of patients, she needs her rest. It is dangerous. I agree with this comment. It is dangerous for other people keeping Emily up. So that is on Amber too. Just because Amber wants attention, she's keeping Emily up and she's putting other people in danger. Of course, Amber doesn't care about that. She only cares about herself and getting the attention she thinks she deserves.
It was always, I didn't care about her feelings. I was stonewalling her. I was cold, insensitive. I don't care about her. I don't love her. I'm the worst girlfriend. How can I treat her like this?
But, that's par for the course around here.
Honestly, at this point, literally all I want is for Amber to tell us what really happened to Rarity. Amber isn't the victim here. Rarity is.
I would love to know the real story of that night. I know I'm not alone. We all want to know what happened. I just don't think we're ever going to find out. I really don't. And I know most of the time I will say the opposite. I will say if something happens, the girls always tell on themselves. We will always find out, whether it be tomorrow, next week, a few months from now, or a few years from now. I always think we're going to find out the answer. But this time, I don't know that we will. I think it's too horrible, and Amber knows it. That she's never going to let this one slip. And we can sit here and have our theories, and one of those theories is most likely correct. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to find out, and that's sad. I mean, the whole thing is.
Casey, Destiny, and Beck have all described being trapped by Amber during an argument. This is a pattern, and it is dangerous. Amber needs to seek help before she hurts any more people.
It's tough. It's really tough to even talk about this because I imagine it and it's really scary to think about. Amber is a large human being and she blocks doorways so that you can't escape a room. If she wants to talk to you and to yell at you in all caps, but in real life, she's going to do it and she is going to trap you in a room until she's finished.
I am the fucking victim in this. This time I am, you guys. I'm sorry to fucking break it to you. This time I fucking am.
It's terrifying. The idea of that is really terrifying to me. Let's see what other people have to say. Exactly, how does she not see herself as the common denominator? She doesn't understand what common denominator means. False imprisonment, which is a crime. False imprisonment. Man, I never really considered it to be that since it's kind of temporary, but I don't know. Would it be considered false imprisonment? Even if it's for a relatively short amount of time? I don't know. Because it made me and she made me is always true for her, even on diets. Weight Watchers allows me to eat ice cream. Everything is external. It made it so I could do XYZ. External blame always. Yeah. And it's not just other things, it or she or, the Weight Watchers. Emily made me do it. Emily made me crazy. It's also, and we've talked about this before, she talks about her brain as though it's a separate entity. Her brain made her do it. Her legs are separate from herself. It is truly a way to escape any accountability and any blame for anything she does. And she reaches anywhere she can to find something or someone else to blame for everything. Even in her latest community tab post, she managed to make it her viewers and the reaction channel's fault for all of the things that Amber was saying in her own live streams.
That let out my cat and I sat there and lied for her dumbass. I remember sitting there in her stupid fucking truck where she sat there smoking cigarettes 24/7. She would go out there and look at all the fat girls. Can you imagine saying, I want to order a 20-piece nugget and your partner saying, how about 40? Leslie. Oh, Leslie.
She blamed us for that. It's almost as though she thinks if she deletes the live streams and then writes that paragraph, it's like those live streams never happened. But Amber, they did. And you're not fooling anyone. In fact, the live streams, they still exist, just not on your channel. It's all just so unbelievable to me how dumb she thinks that we are and how completely innocent she thinks she is. And I don't even know if she thinks she's innocent, honestly. Getting inside Amber's brain is... I don't want to. I really don't want to get inside her brain, but even just trying to imagine how she feels, you know, is she actually convincing herself of the lies that she tells and she fully believes them? Or does she fully realize she's saying these lies and saying these falsehoods, but she just doesn't care? You know, is it delusion, or is it manipulation, or is it just some wild combination of both? I think it probably is the latter, honestly. Okay, guys. Honestly, this is taking a lot longer than I realized it would, but I actually don't have a problem with that. I'm having fun just kind of free-flowing my thoughts and cold reacting to the comment section, but I just don't have enough time to do this all day. I've got, mini waffles to take care of, and we've got Corgi Cam footage to record, and it's going to rain soon, so I gotta make sure to go get that before it does. In any case, I think we can do a couple more here, and then that'll just have to be it for the day. Okay, let's see what's next.
Sorry, but I had to laugh at Emily saying you never have anything to talk about because you don't do anything ever. So true.
And yeah, I laughed at that too. I mean, at this point, Emily and Amber were, still trying to be together. At least Amber was. I don't know where Emily's head was at this moment in time, but, Amber's making her be on FaceTime all hours of the day. And it's not like Emily's even saying, I don't want to talk to you, at least not in full. She's saying, I don't want to talk to you because you have nothing to say. That's the sad part. Like, you literally don't have a life that you're living, so you have no stories to tell. You gotta spend some time apart in order to come back together and share what happened. And Amber doesn't do that. She sits in her apartment, she does Lego, she writes in journals, she orders clothing from stores, and she orders DoorDash, right? Oh, and sorry, she goes to bingo once a week with her mother. I would never want that to be my life, and it definitely doesn't offer anything interesting to talk about. I don't know how many times you can talk about how bingo went, but unfortunately, she's losing the ability to do things with every day that passes because her physical and her mental health are not doing well. And that's very clear to everyone watching. It is, I think I said the word grim earlier. I'm going to say it again. This is a grim life that we are watching. I haven't really been laughing lately. Not in girl world. We're gonna skip the bree hee hee hees, although it is appreciated.
Imagine not letting your partner have 15 minutes of alone time.
Ugh, I can totally just imagine Amber saying she had 17 minutes of alone time or something. But yeah, this is truly horrible, and we have seen Amber controlling her partner's time since the very beginning of her YouTube channel. She was making Crystal play choosy with her earrings. So all the way over a decade ago, Crystal was basically forced to sit on a bed and choose earrings for hours upon hours upon hours. Amber made Destiny call her when Destiny was on a break at work. So the full 30 minutes that she had to get away from her job, she had to sit in her car and call Amber.
But I wanted to eat lunch with my friends. Literally just sit in the building of work at a table and sit with the friends I had made. It was literally 2 people. Amber Lynn wanted me to call her, and I did lie to her. Okay, so I'll admit to that. I lied to her and said that they were doing announcements at lunch that were important, so I couldn't call her. Like, I had to stay in the building. But I only lied to her because if I told her, no, I'm going to sit with them, it would have been like this whole argument. It would have been this whole big deal. And I just didn't see the point. Like, why couldn't I just hang out with my friends? But to her, that was just such an issue.
And we all heard Beck's stories. They had to play choosy, do the lint picking, and they had actual timers set, right? When they wanted to go hang out with their friends and watch a movie or play games in the basement.
The timer would be for when I would hang out with my best friends. We would go down to the basement and play games and stuff, and Amber would choose to stay up in our room, and she would set timers for when I would have to leave my friends and come be with her again.
It was basically getting worse and worse as time went on, just how controlling Amber would be with her partner's time. And so now, hearing this, it's not surprising whatsoever. And what's interesting to me about this one is Emily actually specified 17 minutes, right?
She would do things like get mad at me for being going outside and smoking, and she asked to come with, and I would say, no, I want some alone time. She did not like that. Or she would say, you've been out there for 17 minutes now, what are you doing? And I would get upset about it, and that would make her upset. I'm like, you need to give me space. And she just wouldn't. And I'm like, I can't handle this anymore, Amberlynn. I'm going to go crazy.
And 17 minutes is a very specific time. It's not like, hey, you've been out for 15 or 20 minutes. It's 17 minutes. So how much are you willing to bet that Amber set a timer? She would never admit it, but she probably picked up her phone and set that timer the second that Emily walked out the door. And she probably allowed 15 minutes for her smoke break. And because it had gone 2 minutes over, that's when she got the text of 17 minutes. Oh, I can picture it all right now. Can't you? I can absolutely see that happening. We've had conversations about this in the past. I won't dive into it too deep right now, but it is something that Amber has been doing probably since way before she even started her channel, but it has been at the very least since then. Ugh, it's really tough to think about. 17 minutes. Emily hadn't even left, right? She hadn't gone anywhere. She literally just stepped outside her own house to go have a break, to have a minute to herself. And Amber is hounding her. Oh, it's so disgusting. Amber is so overbearing and suffocating. Ugh. All right, I gotta move on. I'm getting angry.
Amber is taking herself down. She gave us Pocahontas on her own, Melted Candle on her own, broke down on live just because Snowflake mentioned he spoke to Emily. She brought up all those screenshots of Emily calling her names, which led to all of these. That just makes herself look worse. She's the best kind of narcissist, which is a stupid narcissist.
I 100% agree with how Amber is just constantly shooting herself in the foot, She gives herself away all the time. She is a terrible liar. I mean, we talk about that all the time on this channel because it's true. And we were even just talking about another example of that earlier in this video, right? That video that Emily has, we don't know what it is, but we wouldn't know about it if Amber hadn't talked about it first. Amber brought it up. She is taking herself down one day at a time, one meltdown at a time, one DoorDash order at a time, one trip to the ER in the middle of the night on a Sunday at a time. Every single thing that she does is adding to her demise. It's certainly something to watch, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I just heard a rumble of thunder. It was still kind of far away, but I think we're gonna need to stop. Let's just find one last comment. Try and see if we can find a good one. Maybe a positive one. Let's see. I like the dynamic. Let's see what this one says.
I like the dynamic of the group. Karina and Salty and Ankle make the predictions. Apathetic, always, tend to cut down the streams. Jordy, Hecticana, and Snowflake call out a bunch of stuff, and Rachel investigates it.
Oh man, I didn't make the cut. That's fine. Someday I'll make the cut. Someday. I can aim high in Girl World, right? That was positive, though. I wanted to end on a more positive one, so there you have it. It is a great dynamic. I feel like, I don't know, it's like a group effort without it being a group project. I don't know the right word to use, but You know, there's a bunch of different reaction channels out here for sure, more than the ones listed there, obviously. And there's one or many for any kind of mood you might be in. Lots of different personalities, that's for sure. And I love that. So yeah, I agree with this comment. Just someday I'll make the cut and it's all right. Okay, I really do need to go. I want to make sure to grab some Corgi Cam footage for you. So tell me, what did you guys think about this format? I actually really enjoyed it personally. I think it's always good to, get a variety of different points of view other than your own. You don't need to agree with every single opinion that you come across. You also don't need to tell that person that you don't agree with their opinion. Anyway, I do enjoy getting different points of view and considering them, right? Sometimes they change my mind about something, sometimes they don't. And sometimes people are just hella funny and I get to have a laugh. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this, because I might do it again if you did. I know I had a nice time. And if you did enjoy this, please do help me out with the algorithm. I am still growing. We are getting super close to 10,000 subscribers, which I am so excited and so grateful. I cannot believe that I'm almost up to 10K. That's kind of mind-blowing for me. So I appreciate every single one of you out there who is watching and liking and commenting and helping me reach more people. If you do want to help this channel out a little bit more, you can always consider becoming a channel member. I do make some members-only videos, and I have an emoji that I personally designed. You get to have a badge of Minnie Waffle's face, and they are quite cute, if I do say so myself. And in any case, that's it for today. I will put some videos up on screen if you want to keep watching this channel. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Code Red Hotline, this is Deets. What do you got? Look, no, I am not going to do that. No, I didn't call Papa John's the first time, and I'm not going to do it now. So stop asking. Frank, you're a friend, but you have to stop calling this number unless you have something real for me, okay? All right. Okay, thanks, man. Bye.